So we don't do intros here. This is a tier ranking of all of the books I read in 2025. Be honest, does this make me look sophisticated? Like I'm drinking tea? It's not. It's chocolate milk. Does that make me more or less sophisticated? Sound off in the comments. So I tried to put these in order of when I actually read them. Here are my tiers. I have at the very top, Canon will be rereading until death or Christ's return, whichever finds me first. And I mean that. Second is loved, highly recommend. Like, not necessarily it has any faults, but I might not be rereading it. Third is fine, friendly. Fourth is I wish I hadn't. And fifth is Lysol my brain this instant. I feel like I don't need to explain this. I feel like they're pretty self explanatory, so I'm not going to. It doesn't matter to anyone else except me, but these do not correlate directly to my star rating. So, like, the top tier is not necessarily my 5-star reads, and the bottom tier is not necessarily my 1-star reads. You can find 2 stars in the bottom 2 categories, and possibly even 3 stars, maybe. I would be surprised, though, if anything is 4 or lower in my highest tier, unless assuming past Sydney knew how to rank her books, I assume everything in my top tier is going to be 5-star. But anyways, doesn't matter to anyone except me. So it literally doesn't matter. First up, we have Becoming Mrs. Lewis. So it's fine. It's fine. It is about the wife of C.S. Lewis, who is, by the way, C.S. Lewis is one of my favorite, like, human beings who has ever lived on this planet. I love, love, love C.S. Lewis. I love him so much. And so this is a fictional, it's like a mix of fiction and biography of the wife of C.S. Lewis. They didn't get married until they were both, like, pretty old, and he was her second husband, which was pretty controversial, a pretty big deal. It was a good book. It was well written. I have nothing wrong with the way it's written. This is more an indictment on me than the author. I just found myself wishing I had read a nonfiction about C.S. Lewis and his wife. Like, I was so interested anytime they had letters, because in real life they would pass letters back and forth. I was super excited about reading the letters, and not really interested in the fictional aspects of it. Like, I was like, oh, give me more of what actually happened. Which is interesting because I'm not a nonfiction girly. So the next book was The Bright Sword by Lev Grossman. That's going to be a solid I wish I hadn't. So it's a sort of retelling of King Arthur. And I love King Arthur myths. I love King Arthur stories. And so I was really excited about this one. I had very high expectations. And I did not feel like they were met. I had like a couple problems with this book, but if I could summarize, like my biggest gripe with the whole thing is that there were a bunch of characters, but they were all super, super one note. And if you've read the book, like, you know exactly what one note each of them is. And there was like nothing outside of that one thing that they each had. Except for my 2 favorite characters. My favorite character was the main one, Leaf, maybe Eric. I don't know. I don't remember. Clearly left an impact. But I liked him. I felt like he had more of a personality, like, outside of his one trait thing. And Sir Dinadan was the other one. I felt like Sir Dinadan actually had, like, a personality outside of the one note. Like, by the end of the book, I was just, like, I was speed reading because I wanted to be done. Like, not because I was dying to know what happened next. I was like, please let me move on to the next book. I just was not having a good time. Next up, we had, Red Rising. So Red Rising, loved Red Rising. Just a brief synopsis. Futuristic sci-fi society. They live on Mars. In this world, the humans have created a caste system based on colors, like capital C colors, not color of your skin. Like, your hair color and your eye color match the color of the caste that you are in. And our main character, Darrow, is a red, which is the lowest totem on the caste system. And the Reds have been tasked with terraforming Mars to make it habitable for the rest of the colors to come and live there. It's really, really, really good. I really enjoyed it. But here's what's weird. And in my head, I had this planned out. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to put, like, what I'm about to do makes sense. And then, like, now, as I'm about to do it, I realize it doesn't make sense. But I've already committed mentally to it, so it's too late. I'm already doing it. So Red Rising is the first of the series. Golden Sun and Morning Star, the second and third. So I'm going to be putting Golden Sun and Morning Star in rereading until Christ's return, because I love them. I love them so much. And obviously, if I'm rereading them, I'm obviously rereading Red Rising too. I'm not going to reread the second and third books. But I did want to make a distinction. Like, I wasn't as in love with the first book as I was with the second and third. I like dark, but the first book, Red Rising, the first book is like dark, like pretty dark things happen in that. And then in a book, in a series like this with like super high stakes, you expect it to get darker as you go on. But actually, I found that Red Rising was the darkest of the three. I actually thought that the darkest things happened in that book and not the other two. Which, again, that's not like why I rated it so low. I do like dark. I just thought that was interesting. It set a tone that wasn't necessarily matched throughout the rest of the series, which I didn't hate. Obviously, I loved them. So, next we had Ministry of Time. That'll be oh, I stole my brain this instant, please. So that one, if you know, you know. If you know, you know. So all four of you viewers who watched my last video and who are watching this one, all four of you, you already know what it's about, so I'm not gonna harp on it again. But the quick and dirty is it was supposed to be sci-fi and it was romance, and I didn't like that. I was not a fan of that. Wish we had done something different. Next we had A Gentleman in Moscow. Okay, Gentleman in Moscow. That one surprised me. That one surprised me a lot because it's slow. It's really slow and very character driven, which is not normally my cup of tea or chocolate milk in this case. But I ended up loving this book, and I cannot believe how much I love this book. I do like historical fiction, but this is historical fiction in a genre I don't in a time period that I don't typically read in. So that was fun in and of itself. And then also, I fell in love with these characters. I was living in this hotel with the Count and everyone else. Like, I love this hotel. I grew to love it. I grew to love these characters. It felt like, I don't know, I felt like I was part of this family. It was really good. And I don't typically read like slow books like that, but it was really, really good. Next was First Light Wins. First Light Wins was fine. Synopsis, I don't even, like, it was a girl living in a town. She has secrets that she's keeping from her fiance. Okay, yeah, that was good. The twist got me. It was good. Yeah. Someone said, "Should I read this?" I'd be like, "Sure. Go for it. Why not?" Next we had All the Colors of the Dark. Lace on my brain this instant for 500, please. Yeah, so if you know, you know. This book filled me with palpable rage. I get triggered looking at the cover. Like, I see a picture of the cover and I am tilted. I'm triggered. I'm suffering from flashbacks. I have not yet recovered. It's been months and I have not yet recovered from reading this book. It makes me so mad. It just, I can't talk about it. I would tell you it's a thriller, except if I told you that, you'd go into it expecting a thriller like I did, and you will be severely misled. So I'm not going to tell you it's a thriller. I'll tell you it's about a boy. It's about a boy named Patch. Okay, that was fun. All right. Next we had God of the Woods. So this is out of order a little bit. I did not read this one next, but oh well, that's where I have it. Okay, so God of the Woods, fine, friendly. It was fine. There's nothing to write home about. It was okay. It was alright. It's about a girl who she goes missing while at her summer camp. And everyone's looking for her. I could have done a better synopsis, but I don't feel like it. To Kill a Mockingbird. So I'd read this one before in high school, but it was a long time ago. Yeah, that is for sure canon will be rereading. Like, that is beautiful, poetic. The themes, the storytelling, the voice of Scout. I could go on, and I'm not going to because I'm trying to keep this video shorter than the last one. Next we had 1984. 1984. I'm gonna put it in fine. It was like, I'm glad I'm glad I read it, and I would recommend it to people. But I did not love it, so I'm not gonna put it up here, even though I would recommend it. Like I said, it has a good message. It has really cool ideas in it, but the story itself, like, not fun. Like, I didn't have a good time reading it. It wasn't fun. It wasn't fun to read. Next we had Impossible Creatures. We love Impossible Creatures. We love Impossible Creatures. That was so good. As an adult, I had a really good time reading this. I'm sure I would have enjoyed it even more if I had been an actual middle schooler when I read it for the first time. But even as an adult, loved it. It's about this boy who goes and stays at his mysterious uncle's, and then right away he like falls into a portal to this world that's kind of adjacent to ours, or like there's only one way to get to it. And in this world, there are impossible creatures like dragons and unicorns. Next, we had Underwild River of Spirits. Yeah, that's lice on my brain this instant. Yeah, that's the Percy Jackson wannabe. Is that harsher than maybe it deserves? Yeah, but I'm not feeling particularly kind at this moment in time towards this book. It was not fun to read. Listen, I know it's for middle schoolers, but so is Impossible Creatures, and Impossible Creatures was so good. So I'm allowed to have my standards as an adult, I feel like. And Underworld did not meet them. It's about a girl who's like the apprentice to Charon, the guy who ferries souls across the river Styx. I have nothing more to say about it. Oh, Family Experiment. That is loved. We loved Family Experiment. The premise of this one is there is a game show, and there are like 10 couples that go on this game show, and you have to raise a virtual baby in 6 months. So in those 6 months, it grows to 18 years old. And the audience votes on their favorite couple, that like the couple they thought did the best job raising the baby. And whoever the winner is, whoever the audience's favorite is, they get to decide at the very end. They either get to keep the baby, the virtual baby, like it's like they keep it downloaded and it stays alive, or they delete the virtual baby and they get like thousands of dollars. Like they get to choose. Yeah, and all the loser contestants, they have to delete their virtual baby like immediately. Really cool premise, really fun story. Like I loved the secrets that were being revealed throughout. Like it's a very compelling read. Like I kept wanting to read the next chapter. It was very good. Okay, Annie Bot. That's it. It was not lice on my brain. We're gonna put it in I wish I hadn't. This is one of the many casualties from the sci-fi Goodreads list, which I have beef with. I have so much beef with the Goodreads sci-fi list. Keep it contained, Sydney. Keep it cool. You're past that. You're not reading that anymore. Right. Whatever. It's just like Ministry of Time. It's like technically, there's sci-fi elements in it. It is not sci-fi itself, though. It's about this sex bot. It's this robot that was designed to have sex with men, and then it's like it has sentience, and so you're reading from the perspective of this robot, and whatever, barely sci-fi. It had I thought the feminist message was like a little too heavy-handed, and by a little too I mean like way too heavy-handed, but also in a weird way the author made this weird decision at the end of the book. And I don't think it was intentionally meant to do this, but it was like almost like the conclusion was like almost anti-feminist. I can't explain without giving spoilers. I just thought it was a weird decision by the author, to end this feminist book with how they did. Anyways. I've already spent too much time on this book. I did not care about it that much. Next we had Fourth Wing. That'll be a lice on my brain this instant. Summary. Dragons. Girl. Boy. Smut. Okay, yeah, that I think that covered it. Okay. Next we had The Housemaid. The Housemaid I'm gonna put in Fine Bentley. It's about this girl who lies on her like application to get this housemaid position. She has been in jail, but she doesn't like disclose it to her employer. And then she's just a housemaid for this family. It was it was good. It was good, and might have even I might have been tempted to put it higher if not for two things. One, I think it was overhyped a little bit. Like I kept hearing so much about it. I thought it was going to blow my socks off. And it didn't. Like I don't know. The narrator kind of annoyed me. I didn't love being in her head until the end. I did really like her at the end. But that was the first like point against it. And then number two, I'm probably not being fair because the next book I read right after that, I freaking loved. So I couldn't help but compare the two, and yeah. And anyways, speaking of the next book I read, The Midnight Feast. Yep, you ladies and gentlemen, you know exactly where that is going. Yep, we love The Midnight Feast. We love Lucy Foley. I cannot give a synopsis of this book. I don't know what to say. There's a resort. It's opening on the summer solstice. You're hearing from the perspective of a bunch of different people. There's like some of them are guests, some of them are workers at the resort, and one of them's like the owner of the resort. Um and that sounds so stupid, but I promise it's so good. Okay, ooh, so next we had Wuthering Heights. I'm tempted to put it in Wish I Hadn't, but I think I'm gonna go with Fine. Because I didn't like it and I didn't have a good time reading it. But kind of like 1984, I wasn't supposed to. Like the characters sucked so bad, but they sucked on purpose. There's a reason for them sucking, and also I was I was like so mad. Like this book made me angry. Not in the same way as All the Colors of the Dark. Like I was like upset with what was happening in this book. And I think if you're able to evoke that like an emotion that strong in me, like you knew what you were doing and you did it. So congrats. I'll give you fine. I'm never going to read it again. But you got me. You got me. I read it once. Oh, Count of Monte Cristo. Yeah. Do we need to talk about it? No. Kenny will be rereading. Yeah, forever. That has now, Count of Monte Cristo has officially, I made an official list of my top 10 books right now, and Count of Monte Cristo was in it. I think it might have, I don't have it in front of me, but it was like, it might have been top 5. Anyways, it's top 10, absolutely. I love that book. Story of Revenge, an adventure. I don't know what to say. It's so good. I know it's long, but it's so worth it. Next we had Away. I have nothing. I have nothing to say about Away. About these kids who are evacuated from their hometown and then they're trying to figure out why. Okay, next book. Wonder. I love Wonder. I love Wonder. Oh my goodness. You know, I was gonna put it here. I was gonna put it in Loved. But I'd probably reread it. And the other thing is, I watched the movie with my mom. I cried 4 times. I was never not crying in that movie. I was either crying happy tears or sad tears. Like, there was no in between. I was constantly weeping during that movie. It was done so well. I'll put it up here. Yeah, it deserves it. It deserves it. What am I saying? Next we had, The Will of the Many. Okay, so yeah, that'll be a canon we'll be rereading. And I did love it, so I will be rereading because I love it. However, it is also in the canon we'll be rereading because so much happens in this book that like I know I missed so much. Like I will have to reread it every time a book comes out, or like once I read the final book and everything like falls into place. Obviously, I'm gonna have to come back and reread this so that everything makes sense. But our main character, Vis, he's an orphan growing up in this world. It's kind of like Rome because we've got like temples and cathedrals, but it's fantasy. So we have a magic system. And the magic system is like quite literally like a pyramid scheme. So the people on the bottom, they're like seeding what they call will, which is like Your will is like your physical strength, but also like mental and emotional strength. When you cede your will to someone, it's like half of that strength, half of that will goes to the person you're ceding to. And Vis, our main character, he's refused to cede his will. He is like denied, like he's kind of supposed to have, but he has refused every opportunity. He's like, I will not be ceding my will. And he gets pulled into this web of like politics, and it's it's so good. This is so clever. He's just such a clever character, and not in the way where the narrator's like, and this was so smart, and then you just like, you're told about it and then you never show it. You're never like told. Vis never says like, I'm super clever. You just see how clever he is in his interactions and how he responds to situations, and he's just so smart. And all the characters in this book, every single one of them, they play all of their cards super close to the chest. Like, they do not reveal anything more than the other characters need to know. And you don't know who's lying, and you don't know who Vis should be siding with. You like don't know who the good guys are. I eat this book up. It's so good. The Mercy of Gods, I'm gonna put it in fine, but I did like the ending a lot, and I think I'll probably read the rest of the series. It's the first of a series, and the rest of them haven't come out yet, at least as far as I know. I liked it enough. I'll probably read the rest of the series. It's just the beginning, I don't know. I didn't love the beginning, and then I did really like the end. It's about this man named Defeed, and he lives on this planet with, like, humans inhabit this planet, but it's not Earth, and they don't know how they got there. And then one day they are invaded by aliens, and they're like taken prisoner and taken to the alien planet, and there they have to like help the aliens, or else their species will be eradicated. It's good. It's good. The ending was definitely good. I liked it. Orbital, yeah, no. Lice on my brain this instant. Yeah, get that out of my face. I don't have a summary to give you. There's no summary. Nothing happened. Like, quite literally, nothing happens in that book. I think, unless I'm looking, I think this might be my only DNF from this year. Regardless, it takes a lot for me to DNF, and I hated that experience so much. Next, Listen for the Lie. I loved Listen for the Lie. It was fun. I stayed up in one night reading this. Like, I was in bed, and I was like, okay, just one more chapter, and then, it's my bedtime. I ended up staying like 3 hours past my bedtime finishing this book. Literally one night I read it. This podcaster, he finds out about our main girl. In her past, she was accused of having killed her best friend, but like there was no evidence, so she was never like tried for it or anything. But this famous podcaster finds out about the story. He releases a podcast on it, and that dredges up old memories for her, obviously. But our main character, she doesn't remember what happened the night of her best friend's murder. And so she goes back to her hometown for her grandma's like birthday party, and then from there she's trying to kind of solve this murder that everyone thinks she committed. We Solve Murders, loved it. It's a comedy thriller. I was laughing the whole time. It wasn't long enough that I was like, okay, we can stop with the humor. Like, it was funny the whole time, and I enjoyed it. Yeah, it was so funny. About a girl named Amy who works as a bodyguard for this company, and then she's framed for this murder, and so she has to go on the run, and the only person she can trust is her father-in-law, and also the the famous old lady that she is currently bodyguarding. She also goes on the run with her. Yeah, it's good. Next we read Jane Eyre. We love Jane Eyre. We stand Mr. Rochester in this household. We absolutely love Mr. Rochester. What a silly, dramatic man. This perhaps the most dramatic man in the whole world. We love Mr. Rochester. He does the most, and for what? Also, I don't read romance. Typically there will be a couple romance. I was trying to branch out this year. So I read a couple romance this year, but I don't typically read it. So I could be wrong, but I would be surprised if the two worst proposals in the entire world are not contained in this book. And yeah, Mr. Rochester is responsible for one of them. Yeah, yeah. And we still love him. But it was a horrible proposal. So next up was The Picture of Dorian Gray. We loved that book. It started off a little slow, but the ending was just... The message of the book was fantastic. And then the ending just like tied a nice little, pretty little bow on top of the message. I love this book. As for what's it about, this young man named Dorian Gray, he's like super handsome, just super pretty, and everyone just wants to be his friend. Everyone wants to be around him, and then he starts to get kind of like corrupted by this man named Lord Henry, who firmly believes in the philosophy that the only sin you can commit is not giving into temptation. Like, giving into temptation is what we are meant to do as people. The Last Dragon on Mars is fine. It was fine. As a middle schooler, I probably would have loved it, but as an adult, it was just fine. We live on Mars at this point in time. Humankind has learned to live on Mars. And in this world, every planet gives birth to a dragon. Mars does not have a dragon because the humans revolted against him and killed him like hundreds of years ago or something. So, yeah, it was good. It was fine. It was fine. It's the first of a series. I don't think I'll be reading the next few. Bletchley Riddle. Also fine. It's about the Bletchley Place, which was a real place during World War II. I think it was in England. They gathered all the mathematicians and like these educated college kids, and their whole goal was to break the code of the German letters that the English were intercepting. And they knew how the Germans were coding their messages. The Germans had bought this machine and then like mass produced it in Germany. And like the machine was how they coded their messages. And so we knew how the machine worked, but like we couldn't figure out how to break the code. And so I found that super interesting. In this one, I talked about it before. I wish they had either gone hard on the fiction side of this or hard on the historical side of this. They tried to blend both, and it didn't work, in my opinion. I didn't feel connected to the fictional characters, and then I didn't feel like I got enough of the historical parts. So it's okay. It's okay. Stardust Grill was next. Yeah, so that'll be a Lysol my brain this instant, please. Yeah. So, yeah, about a girl named Maya who used to be like an interstellar thief. But when we come into the picture, she's a college student, which is fun and cool. So I should have had a really good time with this one, and I just didn't. I was like bored. I was bored the whole time. I was never. Ooh, it was so hard to read. I didn't have a good time. Like, it was not fun reading this book. Next we had Extinction. Wish I hadn't. It was fine. It was kind of Jurassic Park. So there's this park where they've learned how to bring extinct species back to life. But unlike Jurassic Park, they only have they have very few. So it's like 3 mammoths total and like 2 of these other types of dinosaurs. And it's like a nature resort, so people can go hiking in this park. And our book starts with this billionaire's son and his wife. They are brutally murdered at this park. And our main characters are the cop investigating the scene, and they're treating it like a kidnapping, but we, the readers, we find out right away, like, no, it was like a pretty brutal murder is what happened. No. Home is where the bodies are. It's fine. It was fine. I enjoyed it. It was a thriller. Again, it was one just like what was it before? First Lie Wins. Like the twist, it kind of got me. I liked it. I just wasn't the biggest fan of how the book was written. The characters sounded very similar to each other. But the story itself was fun, and I liked the thriller bits of it. Fahrenheit 451. Oh, wow, I lost it. Oh, it's right here. That is we loved Fahrenheit 451. And to be honest, I'll probably end up rereading it. It was so short. But I didn't love it as much as these other books in this category. So, like, technically, yeah, I'll be rereading it. But that's not the point of this category. It's not literally just rereading. It's like, how much did I love it? And I did love Fahrenheit 451. It was good. But I didn't like it as much as some of these other ones. Takes place in this future where the firefighters, they don't put out fires, they start them to burn books because owning books, reading books is illegal in this world. Frankenstein! It's not Lysol my brain. It is I Wish I Hadn't, though. I did not. I did not enjoy this book at all. It was Wuthering Heights, at least, even though I hated the characters, I was like invested in them. I really wasn't invested in any of the characters in Frankenstein. Not a single one. There were no good guys. And listen, there were no good guys in Wuthering Heights either. But for again, I was just more invested in them than I was in Frankenstein. No, thank you. No, thank you. Isle of Ever, we love Isle of Ever. That was such a good book. That was so fun. Quintessential fantasy. Everything I have ever like desired in a middle school book was in here. The only reason it's not in canon we'll be rereading is there are like points that I'm like that could have been done better. But I mean it's cute and it's fun, and I will be reading the rest of the series. I think the second book's out already, but I got distracted with the rest of my bracket, and so I haven't got to it yet. It Came from the Woods. It was fine. It was fine. It was horror, which I wasn't expecting for middle grade. But yeah, I would consider that horror, definitely. Did I say it came from the woods? It came from the trees. I did this in my other video too. Gosh. Follows this girl who's going camping, and then her best friend is like dragged away by this monster, and so then she's trying to find the monster. Yeah, that about sums it up. Okay, so that was the last of my March Madness bracket. So from here on out, it was just like whatever I wanted. And for some reason, I was like, oh, I'm done with the bracket. Now I can read whatever I want. Like I don't have to read things I don't normally read. And then for some reason, I read a romance, which I don't read romance ever, but I did for some reason, and it was fine. It was fine. I liked it more than I expected to. I expected to not like it at all. But it was fine. It was good. Just for the summer, it's about this girl and this guy. So both of them, they like connect over Reddit, and they find out they both have like a curse where everyone who's ever broken up with them, the next person that person dates has been their soulmate. And so they jokingly, they're like, oh, well, what if we date? Because then if we break up, like we'll both find our soulmate after that. It's cute. It's cute. And I did like it. It kind of pulled the heartstrings during sometimes. I liked it. I enjoyed it. Oh, now our list is too big. I'm gonna have to keep scrolling. My bad, everybody. I Who Have Never Known Men. That was. I'm gonna put it in fine, but it's like between loved and fine. It was a good book. It was like super. Like I was thinking about it for days afterward, and that's the sign of a good book to me. However, the reason it is in this category. Well, I should talk about it. So, I Who Have Never Known Men. It's about this girl who has lived her whole entire life in this bunker. She's never been outside. She's literally never left this like cell that she and a bunch of other women have been like held captive in, and they have men. So it's not literally I Who Have Never Known Men, which I thought, oh, so she's never gonna see a man. No, they have like men, guards patrolling the outside of their cage, and one day this alarm goes off, and the men take off. The men like run, and they leave the door ajar, and so our main character, she and the other women, they escape, and then and then the rest of the book is them finding their way across this world. It was good, and it was also formatted weirdly. There were no chapters, but I didn't mind that because it is such a short read. Like I read it in one sitting. The reason it is not higher is because just it's a personal preference. Like it was written really well, and again, I was thinking about it for forever. So it is like objectively better than what I'm putting it at. But the reason I'm putting it at fine is because I hate when mysteries are not explained or answered. I don't like ambiguous endings. I don't like, oh, like, it's up to the reader to interpret the ending. I don't like that. Give me a clear cut, give me an answer. Like, don't introduce all of these questions and then never answer them. I was getting so stressed because I realized I was like halfway through the book, and I was like, I'm not getting any answers, am I? And boy, was I correct. No, not an answer in sight, not one. Just more questions, which was like the point of the book. So it was good, and the author like did what she was set out to do. but boy, did it make me mad. Next, we read Parable of the Sower. I'm gonna put that in. I wish I hadn't. I think I was just tired, to be honest. I may have read this at a wrong time. I was just tired of like apocalyptic stories at this point, because I Who Have Never Known Men is definitely kind of like post-apocalyptic, and Parable of the Sour is definitely during apocalyptic times, and I wanted something more hopeful, and I wasn't getting that from this. I thought the narrator, I thought, was kind of pretentious. I didn't like her very much at all. Like, she was like, I know what's best, I know everything. And also the romance, I didn't like the romance at all. Anyways, so that's that. Shadow of the Gods, I'm gonna put in loved, because I did, but I did consider fine. I did consider fine for this trilogy. The reason, what pushes me over the edge to put it in loved, the main character, Orca, I love her so much. I love Orca so much. One of my favorite female characters I've ever read. I would die for Orca. I wouldn't have to. She doesn't need me to. I would simply get in her way. But I love Orca, and I would die for her. Again, she would never need me to do that. But just know that I would. It's kind of like a Norse mythology fantasy, which I liked. It was fun. I don't read a lot of that, so that was enjoyable. And it takes place in this world where it's like there was this war semi-recently. I think it's like hundreds of years, not thousands, like hundreds of years ago. The gods all came together and they fought in a war, and it ravaged the landscape. And so like the people on Earth, they were like, so this is like, the gods are actually not good for us. We need to kill them. And so they killed off all of the gods. And so it takes place in a world where like the gods are now gone and the humans are making their own way. So that's like the world building. I thought the world building was really, really interesting. I wish it had been touched on more, actually. Because I really liked like that. That's a fun premise. That's really, really cool. So we're following main character Orca, who is amazing. We stan Orca. We love Orca so much. But we're following her. How? I don't want to give anything away. We're following her. We're also following these other people. This huge cast of characters, and they all like meet together and then split up at certain points in the trilogy. I had a few qualms with it, and I can't remember what they are right now. I know I mentioned them in my Goodreads review. One of them was, I thought whoever edited that book, sorry, I don't mean to throw you under the bus, but like, wow, you missed a lot. There were a lot of typos and like just weird errors that should have been caught. It like a crazy amount. Like, to the point I don't care. I don't care who published a book. I don't care who edited a book. I looked up. I like went to the front of the book and I was like, who published this? I was like, why did they do that? Anyways. But it was good overall. I enjoyed it. Next, okay. Okay. I have to talk about this first. Okay, so The Devils is next. Let me preface. I am a Christian. I love Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. I am a sinner who does not deserve his death, and yet I have it anyway. Okay. Get that out of the way. The Devils is not for everyone. The Devils it is not a book. So, okay. What do I say? About it? Okay. First of all, it's up here. Canon will be rereading until death or Christ's return. Okay. I have so many things I have to say. First and foremost, Joe Abercrombie is my favorite author in the whole entire world. It used to be Stephen King, but it was several years ago. He was usurped by Joe Abercrombie. Sorry, Stephen King, we still love you. You are hit or miss, and your misses are pretty wild. But Joe Abercrombie, I have not read something from him yet that I have not absolutely devoured and loved. I think his writing is phenomenal. The way he writes characters, I love his characters so much. And I have this joke with my cousin, and it's absolutely true. Joe Abercrombie has this magical power where he will take a character that you hate at the beginning of a series, and or a book. And by the end of that book or series, they'll be your favorite character. You will love them. You will like unironically love that character. And then the character that you loved at the beginning of the book, by the end of the book, he's going to make you hate them. He's going to twist and warp them, and you are going to hate them by the end of the book. I don't know how he does it. And I don't know, like, knowing he has that formula, it still gets me every time. I'm still shocked that I'm like, oh, I'm not going to like this character. And then I end up loving him. I don't know how he does it. Okay, so that's my rant. That's my rant number 1. Rant number 2. Okay, so The Devils, like I said, not for everyone. So The Devils is, as far as I know, the first book in a new world that he's writing in. So most of his books have been written in this same world. The Blade itself, the First Law trilogy, Best Served Cold, all of that. It's all taking place in the same world. This one is a new world. It's fantasy, but it's heavily, heavily, heavily based on Roman Catholicism. Like the higher ups are all priests, and this world it's like if a fantasy world was run by the Roman Catholic Church. That's kind of the setting. The reason I'm prefacing with it is not for everyone. So Joe Abercrombie is not a Christian to my knowledge. I don't think he is. So he does not have a favorable view of the Catholic Church. And so obviously also not Christianity. So it is pretty sacrilegious at times. It's the word I would use. So if that stuff like bothers you, like absolutely don't read this. I actually, despite this being one of my favorite books I read this year, and I mean that, one of my favorite books, I've not recommended it to anybody because I'm like, well, if you're a Christian, it might offend you. Like, it's kind of offensive. And if you're not a Christian, it gives you a bad view of Christianity. So I don't know who to recommend it to. So I haven't recommended it to anyone. And yet I love this book so, so much. I don't expect the people I read to have a favorable view of Christianity. I'm not expecting that in most of my books, which is why when it happens, like in Jane Eyre, I'm pleasantly surprised, but I'm just not expecting that. So it didn't bother me, but I understand why it could and might bother someone else. But I also am a firm believer that whether intended or not, every good story contains a little bit of the gospel. And you absolutely see it in this book, even though that's clearly not what Joe was going for. But listen, I don't know if Joe wants to hear this or not, but Joe's a really good storyteller. So yeah, I have seen the gospel in a lot of his stories, whether he wants that to happen or not. I've seen it. I can't help it. Okay, rant over. Next was Pet Sematary. Despite being a Stephen King fan, hadn't read that one yet. There's a lot of Stephen King books I have not read yet. But I'm working on it. Pet Sematary, I read it at the perfect time. So it goes in loved. I loved Pet Sematary. And I read it at the perfect time. I was at this cabin with my friend, and it was during fall. So we were in October. Spooky season was like just ending, and all the leaves are falling on the ground. And we were in this cabin. It was just a perfect setting to read this book. The ending, chills. Gave me chills. The ending gave me actual chills. I really, really liked the last scene of this book. So this one is about, I didn't even talk about the devils. Okay, so my quick spiel of the devils. So in this world where like the world is run by priests and like the higher up they're all these priests, there's a couple main characters, but one of them is a priest who's just got promoted to like I'm not a Catholic. I don't know exactly how it works, but he just got promoted to something like a bigger job than what he had. And it does not entail what he thought it would. He thought it was going to be like, he thought he was going to do a lot of paperwork, but he would just get a lot of recognition and stuff. But it turns out he's actually going to be on the field, on the front line of these battles that he didn't really know were going on. And he's going to be in charge of a group called the Devils. And it's these people that the church have locked up for being like sinners. So even though all of them are in the eyes of the law deserving of execution, they have not been executed because they are used as like the brute force of the Catholic Church. They send them out to do missions for them. So that's the plot of the Devils. Okay, back to Pet Sematary. So Pet Sematary is about this family that just moves into this new house, and there's this little like graveyard out in the back, and it's where all the kids from this like neighborhood have buried all of their pets. It turns out there's some shenanigans going on, and the pets that you bury come back to life. Oh, the house next door. Okay. House next door. Oh man. I will probably be rereading The House Next Door eventually. I think I'm going to put it in loved though. I loved The House Next Door. It was so good. What is it about? So it's about this couple who lived in this like rich uppity neighborhood, and they are convinced that the house next to them is haunted. And so the story is told kind of as a flashback, because you start off like in the present, and then the rest of the book takes place like the main character, Colquitt, she's looking back on the families that have moved and subsequently moved out of the house next to their own. It's really good. It's very spooky. I talked about it. If a book makes me like think about, if I'm thinking about a book days after reading it, that's just a sign of a good book. This book, that ending, the ending was so good. I was thinking about that ending for forever. I was dwelling on that. Like, I couldn't sleep that night because I was thinking about that ending. Not necessarily because it scared me so much, but because I was just like turning it over and over in my head, and I was like examining the ending, and I was like, yes, it all makes sense. I really enjoyed that book. That's like halfway. I could put that, if I had a tier between these two, which I absolutely could have done because I'm the one who made this tier, I would put it in that tier, but I didn't, and so we can't. Okay, we're almost done. Okay, Project Hail Mary. I really like that book. That goes in loved, highly recommend. I also read The Martian earlier, and so I guess I'm an Andy Weir fan because I loved both of these books. It's about this guy who wakes up on a spaceship, and he has no memories. He has amnesia. He doesn't remember why he's on the spaceship. He doesn't know anything. And he's not an astronaut. He does know what he's doing, but you just get the vibe. You're like, I don't think he's done this before. Like, he's not an astronaut, so why is he up in space? He has to figure that out. And he has to figure out what his goal is. Like, what is he doing up there? I really liked that book. I love the way Andy Weir writes science. I've said it before. I don't know if I've said it before, but I'm saying it now. I love the way Andy Weir writes science. Of course, that's a bit of my chemistry background coming into play here, but I can't help it. He writes science, even fictional science. He writes it in a way that I'm like, that is so believable, even though it's made up. The way he gets there, he can explain it in a way where you're like, yes, every step makes sense. Okay, The Strength of the Few. So The Strength of the Few is the second book of The Will of the Many. I'm going to put that in loved. Hear me out. The reason it's not in canon we'll be rereading, there was a lot. It was a lot. It was like too much. And I don't say that lightly. I think I can handle a lot. I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I feel like I can handle a lot. There was a ton going on in this though. Like, and I read it in a pretty short amount of time, which I'll get into in a second. And I still was losing track of names and characters. Like, even though it's not like I set it down and then picked it up a few days later. Like, I was consistently reading this book and I was losing track of names all the time. My brother really wanted to read it, so I was like, I have to read this as quickly as possible, because obviously I was reading it first. Like, don't be ridiculous. I was, of course, reading it first, but I felt bad, and so I tried to read it as quickly as possible, and I think that actually ended up hindering my enjoyment of this book. I think I would have liked it a lot more if I had maybe taken my time with it, but at the same time, if I'd taken my time with it, I would have probably forgotten even more character names. So I did love it, and the ending was great. I cannot wait for the next book. Like, I cannot wait for the next book. But there's just a lot. There was a lot, and it could have been my fault. That could have been my fault. I'm willing to admit that. Oh, Watership Down. I loved Watership Down. Watership Down was so cute. It's a book about rabbits, and I was like, I heard it was good, and I was just like, yeah, okay. I'll give it a shot, I guess. I actually loved that book. It's written so well. It's just like a magical story. Of like friendship. I teared up at the end. Such a heartwarming story. And yeah, that's my synopsis. It's about rabbits. Okay, yeah, do something about it. Okay. And there he kept her. It was fine. It was fine. It's a thriller. It's about this cop who moves back to this small town. It's the same small town where his older brother drowned several years ago. But he's actually not there for that reason. He's there because he just wanted to move out of the city after something happened, which you find out later. And he is trying to solve this missing persons case. So his cousin's daughter has gone missing. And so he's like trying to find her. But the perspectives flip between him and the perpetrator. And so like you know who did it, and so you're just waiting for the cop to figure out. I think that can be done well. And I think it was done fine here, but I've seen it done better where like who the bad guy is and you're hearing from his perspective and you're watching the others try to figure it out. A great example would be Dune. I think Dune does it so well. Dune hides nothing from you, and yet there's still tension. I don't know how it's possible, but it is. I can't explain it. It's magic. I don't know. I think Stephen King does it really well in Mr. Mercedes. I think that's also a great example of hearing from the bad guy, but there's still being tension. Okay, so next was Summer Friday. So this was my other romance read. The romance read. It was written really well. Like I had a really good time reading it. I am gonna put it in fine, but it could go higher. It could go to loved, I think, but I am just gonna put it in fine. The ending conflict. I was shouting. I was shouting at the book. I was so mad at the ending conflict. Made me so mad. Anyways, so Summer Fridays is about this girl who is engaged to this boy. I think his name's Charlie. Don't hold me to these names. I know I just read this book. I don't care. But she's engaged to Charlie, and then she starts suspecting Charlie of maybe cheating on her with this girl named something. I don't remember. But that girl has a boyfriend, and then through circumstance, like those two start hanging out, and then they start falling for each other. It's the plot, the way I describe the plot makes it sound kind of dumb, but it's a good story. It's written really well. There's just a couple things that I didn't vibe with, and one of them was the ending. The ending conflict made me mad, and thus the ending kind of made me mad. Next was Recursion. I really liked Recursion. It's very sci-fi, following this guy named, I think his name's Ben, and he's a former cop, or no, he is a detective. He's a detective. He is researching these. So there's this phenomenon happening. Oh, and I can't remember the name anymore. But there's some kind of phenomenon happening where people inherit these false memories. They're called false memories, and I don't remember what there's a name. They've put a name on this. It's been like not super prevalent, but it's been prevalent enough that they have given a name to it, where people have these false memories, and it's assumed to be contagious because oftentimes someone with false memories, people who know that person, will also end up getting false memories. And so it's like contagious, but nobody knows how the disease is transmitted. Super interesting. It's just something I've learned with sci-fi. I think sci-fi won't oftentimes be a 5-star read for me, and and I think it's just something I have to accept about the genre. Sci-fi typically doesn't care about the characters as much as it does the plot, which is totally fine because the plots in a good sci-fi are good enough that that's fine. But a 5-star read to me, I love characters, and which is why Joe Abercrombie is my favorite author of all time. I love characters so much, but I'm just not gonna get that in most sci-fi. But it was very good. Demon Copperhead. Let's take nope. Sorry, baby. I just can't. Demon Copperhead. Oh, yeah. No, it was so good. Demon Copperhead is written so well. It brings to mind To Kill a Mockingbird. It reminds me of To Kill a Mockingbird, the way it is written, like Scout's voice. Absolutely, I see that in this book for the time period it's in, if that makes sense. I love this book. It's I can't get over the way it is written. The prose kills me in this book. The prose is beautiful. I could eat up. Every sentence was like delectable. It was scrumptious. I couldn't read it quickly. I'm a fast reader. I could not read this book quickly though, because like every sentence was one you want to mull over and take your time on. And so I couldn't read it quickly. And also the material is heavy. And so like for that reason I also didn't want to take it quickly, because it's really heavy. But it is so good. The prose is the absolute best part of this book to me. And I mean the story is good, of course, but the way it's written is beautiful. So what is it about? So it's about this kid, and his nickname is Demon Copperhead. He grows up single mom, and it's just following his life during the opioids crisis. It takes place during that time, and he's in this like backwater town in I can't remember the state, but it's so good. I can't recommend that one enough. Oh, The Enchanted Greenhouse. So I picked this one up just like randomly at the library. I was at the library and I was like, you know what? Like, let's just grab a book we've done no research on. That was a mistake. So that'll be a light on my brain this instant. I loathed this book. I loathed it. So it was my first cozy fantasy, and I think my hatred is less for maybe the book than the whole genre in general. Cozy fantasy is not for me. Cozy fantasy is not for me. So it's about this girl who she like uses magic, but it's illegal to do that. And so her punishment is that she's transformed into a statue. And then one day she comes back to life, even though she wasn't supposed to. She's supposed to stay a statue forever. She comes back to life and she meets this greenhouse keeper who takes care of this magical greenhouse in the middle of this winter wonderland. Oh my lint. I was like, I kept thinking the whole time, I'm like thinking, okay, who's going to end up being the traitor? Who's going to end up being the villain? Spoiler alert. There's no villain. There's no bad guy. And I think that's like the point of cozy fantasy. That is not for me. I could not stand the main character. I couldn't. Her voice was so obnoxious. Her voice was so annoying, and I was stuck in her head. Like we were in her head the whole time, and you couldn't get out. I hated this book. I hated it so much. Okay, but next we had The Guest List by Lucy Foley. I read it because of The Midnight Feast, because of how much I love The Midnight Feast. That's going to go in loved, highly recommend. So, I forgot to put The Paris Apartment in here. I read The Paris Apartment this year. The reason I forgot is because I did it as an audiobook, and for some reason that just like didn't compute in my mind as reading a book, but I did read The Paris Apartment, and that also goes in loved, highly recommend. So far, Lucy Foley is 3 for 3 for me, so that's huge. Lucy Foley could be up and coming for me. I love The Guest List. It is my least favorite of the 3 Foley books I've read so far, though. I am afraid that it was too similar to The Midnight Feast. Obviously, I still enjoyed it. And I love The Midnight Feast enough that, like, okay, you're a lot like The Midnight Feast. I'm going to like that. But because of that, I was able to guess some of the twists, like, right away. Because it followed, like, the exact same beats as The Midnight Feast. Which, again, I put it in love. Like, I still love this book. I'm afraid that I'm never going to like one of her books as much as I did The Midnight Feast. It just wasn't new enough. It wasn't fresh enough. And I hope that's not the case. I'm going to keep reading her. And if they are all like The Midnight Feast, I'm still going to like it because I think it was done well. But it did feel kind of like a rehashing of The Midnight Feast. And I actually don't know which came first. The Guest List might have come first, but I'm just, from my perspective, that's what it looked like. And my last book, so I'll probably read more by the end of this year, but whatever. At the time of making this video, this is the last book I read. Assistant to the Villain. Lysol my brain this instant, please. Okay, so it's about this girl who becomes the assistant to the villain in her village. Okay, so I blame the marketing on this one. I completely blame the marketing because if you look at this cover, you can't see it very well. But the cover is like has this like a pile of books and it says like monologuing, evil plot, whatever, whatever. And so it's very cute. It's like it's a very cute cover and it's like kind of silly. And then when you open up the book, the first thing you see is this map and it's a map of the region and like in the corners are like scribbles and there's like arrows pointing to this one forest and it's like trap the unicorns here, like kidnap unicorns here. And then like off to the side it says mermaid sushi, good idea. And things like that. And like there's a step by step, there's like steps on how to become a villain. 1, monologue. 2, something. So very cutesy, very silly. So for those of you who have read the book, you're probably gonna think I'm an actual moron. But I literally went into this book. I thought it was gonna be like an assistant to Dr. Doofenshmirtz from Phineas and Ferb. That was what the vibe, that's what the cover and the map promised me. Like I was like, oh, this is gonna be so cute and like silly. It's gonna be so funny. Absolutely not. It was like, okay, so first of all, it did try to be funny. Not once did I find it humorous. It was not funny to me at all. But no, it's not like that at all. The villain is like this super sexy dude who's just like a good guy who does bad things off screen. Like you don't see him kill anyone. We just hear about him killing people and like they were bad anyway, so it doesn't matter. It's not what I wanted. It's not what I wanted. And also I just found it hilarious. She meets this guy in the woods. Like this right away. So I'm not like spoiling anything. She meets this guy in the woods and she's like, wow, he's like super hot. Like he is like unbelievably attractive. And when she finds out he's a villain, that's his name, by the way, the villain. That's crazy. And she's like, wow, I didn't expect pretty people to kill people. And he like acts surprised and I'm like, what do you mean? Like, you're a model. Like, you were described as a literal model. Has no one ever complimented you on your appearance before? But the way he responds, it's as though it's Beauty and the Beast. And, like, Belle has just complimented the Beast on his appearance. But he's, like, this sexy guy in tight leather pants. Sorry, so my cousin really enjoyed this book, so I shouldn't be bashing it this hard. It wasn't my least favorite of the year. I can say that with certainty. But it was down there. So those are all the books I read for 2025. And then hopefully I'll read a couple more. I can't end on that note. I can't be doing that. I can't be doing that to myself. Yeah, so that was it. All right. See ya.